Coach, can you hear us?
I can hear you. Can you guys hear me?
Great. Welcome everybody to Manny Diaz's weekly press conference. The Hurricanes are ranked 11th in both polls this week. And this Saturday night at Hard Rock Stadium host Virginia at 8 o'clock with an ACC network telecast. We'll begin with an opening statement from Coach Diaz, and then we will open it up for questions. As a reminder, please use the hand raise function within Zoom. Coach, take it away.
Thank you, Carter. Yeah, we had a good evening last night. Came and had a light practice. Proud again of the team effort we had on Saturday. We had some sore individuals. Yesterday I had the same. That was a very physical contest. A lot of big collisions out there. But guys were in a good attitude. Still had a chance to correct some of the things that still need to be corrected going forward. This team can continue to play a lot better than it is, and I think they're aware of that. But that being said, you've got to celebrate your wins. They're hard to come by.
Can y'all hear?
And I'm proud of the effort and the attitude of the team and the way that we really played complementary football on Saturday. Virginia is always a challenge. When you think of a Bronco Mendenhall coach football team, you're going to think defense. Very multiple in their fronts and in their coverages. And for another week, we're going to be facing an uncertainty in terms of who the starting quarterback is. Where last week with Pitt, it didn't really change what they were going to do on offense. With what Virginia has shown, they do really change who they are offensively based off who their quarterback is. So it'll be a challenge for our defense in terms of their preparation and awareness during the game to see what we're going to get, because we really probably will not know until Saturday. Excited to be back in our stadium Saturday night, night game. It'll be our last home game here for a while because of the bye and a couple of away games. So looking forward to getting in front of a big crowd that we're allowed to have, and a rowdy crowd, and continue to protect our home field. And with that, I'll open up for questions.
Great, thanks, Coach. We'll start with Chris Stock from Inside the U. Chris, go ahead.
Manny, through 5 games this year,
third
downs and red zone defense and offense all have been improved from a year ago. Just what kind of emphasis did you guys place on that in the offseason? Also, what kind of impact do you think it's made on both sides of the ball through the 5?
Well, it certainly makes an impact in terms of winning, right? I mean, obviously, it just and there's a lot of things that go into that in terms of red zone success on both sides. I mean, we certainly practice it. We make a big point of emphasis on it. It's a big part of our Wednesday practice. But kicking game is a big deal too, right? Just even having, Jose Borregales, and it changes the way you can call plays on offense. It changes the confidence of the football team. And then defensively, we prided ourselves on holding people to 50% touchdown percentage in the red zone. If you do that, you're generally going to be in the top 10 in the country. And so that has gotten better and better every week as we've gotten further into the 2020 season. So we love those stats here. We love those elements of the game because we know it wins, and it's been a team effort on both sides of the ball to improve where we were a year ago.
Great. Next, we'll go to David Fuentes from the Sun Sentinel. David, go ahead.
Hey, Coach. We got the latest depth chart, and at wide receiver, pretty much anyone.
You just brought up the depth chart.
Take a starting position. It's up for grabs. It seems. What's the message you're sending with that? And also, are there any of the younger receivers that you feel have impressed you that may have carry some momentum into this competition you seem to be opening up?
Yeah, no. All we're really doing is changing. The emphasis on Tuesday, Wednesday,
become the coach
Thursday.
speak. What's going on, man? Let me hit the like button and share for us.
First play of the second half. As I mentioned I think on this call a week ago, the rotation itself, what we want is we want to be able to play a lot of guys. This is not about these guys can't do it, these guys can. We want more guys that feel like they can do it. And certainly the young players are improving and they are getting better. We had a couple shots down the field with Keyshawn Smith in the game on Saturday.
Give me a question. Any questions y'all want to ask, bro?
It was a perfectly thrown pass. It was defensive pass interference.
Give me a good question to ask.
So just getting, whether it's Keyshawn, whether it's Redding, whether it's Restrepo, getting those guys more involved in the game. Jeremiah Payton has continued development. Obviously, we missed him for the time that he was out. So getting all those guys, but that's not to say that, Harley had the big touchdown catch. We thought Mark Pope played very well on Saturday, played very hard.
Okay, man,
so,
Mark Pope played well,
we're trying to get more guys
what y'all talking about?
Because that's ultimately makes the whole football team better.
Great. Next, we'll go to David Lake from 24/7. David, go ahead.
Ask why they keep
Which
putting
we're
the
asking
card
about
on.
Silvera. It seems like he's taken his game to another level this year. Is there a reason for that, or is it mainly just like he is older now and healthy?
I'm going to the Central.
Or is there stuff?
Am I going to Central? No, what's the game? Most likely, yeah, man.
Done in his game this year.
Yeah, David, I think it's a combination of all those things. I mean, certainly he's older, he's wiser, he's more mature. Probably understands the defense, not just schematically, but technique-wise better. And I think he also knows now it's his time. You know, I think like a lot of guys in that junior class, you know, they're the upperclassmen now, and they're the ones that came in the season sitting around watching, you know, being a part of, but just, you know, 2 seasons that really
Ask him how's recruiting going right now.
His effort.
I don't know if they really talk. They don't really talk about recruiting.
Hits on the quarterback.
I could ask him
We
though.
showed the entire team. There was a play in the red zone. They throw a little swing pass. I think the running back is 1-on-1 on Sam Brooks maybe, and Nesta never. I mean, it is full speed pass rush, puts a foot in the ground, and runs and ends up putting a pretty good lick at the guy out of bounds near our sideline. So those type of effort plays inspire the whole defense, and it really sets the tone for the defensive line position in general. And I think one of the things that's changed from a year ago is I think with the leadership of Nesta, Jalen, Quincy, some of those guys, we're straining a lot harder on our defensive line this year than we did a year ago. We did not play hard a year ago, but it is a strain this year, and they're seeing the results.
Nesta's speed and his ability to change direction at his size, does that make him unique? Is that I mean, it doesn't seem usual for a guy that size to be able to run like he does.
Yeah, no, he obviously, you know,
Nesta fast. I didn't know Nesta
fast. That's what you expect at Miami, right?
It's McLeod Cleats got cement since he's still in his stand 3 to 5 seconds.
You see Jared Harrison Hunt, someone that has that similar type of ability. When your big guys can run, that creates problems, you know, in a lot of different ways. So yeah, I think that's definitely one.
Can y'all hear?
He's always had an ability to make a play. He can finish a play in the backfield. Some guys can get back there and they just can't really finish, and Nesta's always been able to finish.
Let's go next to Gary Furman from King
Peter,
Sport.
ask
Gary,
Manny,
go
is
ahead.
there anything that they can do
Hey, Manny,
to
how are
open
you?
up the run game
you
more?
referenced earlier today the balance in college football, how really anybody from 5 to 40 and beyond can beat anybody any week. And we're seeing a little bit of that also in the ACC, where you've got right now 6 of the teams in the top 25, and one of them got beat Saturday by a Florida State team that's not even getting votes in any polls.
Why can't we spread out
right
the offense
now.
when the bunch isn't
Why do you
effective?
think that is, and why do you think
Ask about the
that
linebackers. What about the
it's
linebackers?
making it such a challenge year after year just to get through an ACC schedule without taking losses to teams that maybe people don't necessarily, on the face value of it, expect to beat other teams?
Well, I think number one, you kind of you actually gave the answer. It's what they expect on the face value. That's really the whole key. We have a league of good football teams, and I don't know that they're always valued equal to how good they are.
Y'all think it's the ACC a league of a good football team?
It's hard to make it through unscathed. But it's real simple. You have to play your best every week, and that's easier said than done. That's really difficult.
Y'all think the ACC a league of good street at? Accents outside shots not working for the wide receivers are crossing meshing routes going to be trying. I think I get to talk to
If you don't play your best, you're going to get beat. And I'm sure that they would say the same could be true.
we get to talk to Lashley at 1:30. We're gonna ask Lashley those questions. All right.
A couple of the teams at the top, it is very difficult to beat the same team week in and week out. That's again.
Well, Manny just said it's a league full of top teams, though.
In our effort, and our attitude, and the way we've attacked every week.
That's how they got Flag and Brooks played with their increased snaps.
That
That's a good question.
That was something that we could not say a year ago. It was you couldn't compare the team that played Florida, the opener, to
Let's
the
see if they.
the season, and that's what we had to own, starting myself. So we're not even halfway done. So we're not making any proclamations that we're this and we're that, but they understand the challenge at least. You know,
See if they call on me. No, Black Lives Matter.
How hard it is
Black
to
media
prepare,
companies
and the
matter.
traps of saying, oh, well, look at how this team looked a week ago, therefore we shall do this. It just never works that way. And
Dude, why is it when Miami lost to Clemson, they dropped 5 spots, but Georgia lost, they dropped 1 spot? Because it's Georgia.
We message that every day in our program.
We might be frauds.
Great. Next up, we'll go up to Richmond. Mike Barber with the Times-Dispatch. Mike, go ahead.
Hey, Coach, I wanted to ask, you mentioned in your opening that when you think of UVA and Bronco, you think of defense. They gave up 6 plays of 30 yards or longer against Wake Forest.
It's a
So what do you see
Virginia
from that
reporter.
defense that's made them a little bit big play prone this year?
Well, and Bronco knows that too, and he's referenced that, and obviously I'm sure that'll be a big point of emphasis in their practice this week. I know we've played them the last 2 years, and I don't think anybody's gotten to 20 points. I'm not sure if anybody's gotten to 17 points in this game over the last 2 years. So they've got a lot of pride in what they do. They do have a lot of experienced players in what they do. Wake Forest, again, is a team they've got an explosive offense. And what Wake Forest does puts a lot of pressure on your secondary, the way they kind of run the slow inside zone. They make it straight man everywhere, pretty much no matter what you're in. So, again, I think sometimes we do have to give the other team credit, but I know that staff in Virginia, and have seen those guys work for too long to know that that won't be a major point of emphasis this week in trying to limit our ability to create explosive plays. That's obviously something we have done well through the first half of the season.
And you mentioned the quarterback rotation and the jumble that is. I know it's just one game. Were you able to determine, and not that you would want to share it, but were you able to determine any kind of pattern in terms of who they like in certain situations, or is that still a mystery for you?
Yeah, it's a mystery. The sample size is too small, and as you know, when you go into a game with a game plan, you invariably don't even call all the stuff you would have in a certain package. So you just got to prepare for your rules, and kind of rule it out that no matter what they do, that you've got a guy in every gap, and then if the quarterback's a runner, then that creates an extra gap, and you've got to whip a block, you've got to get even another guy down there. So, at the end of the day, there's not that many choices in what you can do. But our players will have to prepare for a lot of stuff this week.
Thank you.
Next up, we'll go to Manny Navarro from The Athletic. Manny, go ahead.
Manny Navarro, Athletic.
Hey, Manny, obviously, you guys had a limited spring and didn't get an opportunity to work with a lot of the younger guys, coming back for their second year and in this last recruiting class. But it feels like you're starting to get a lot more contributions to Corey Couch, Jared Harrison-Hunt, some of the freshmen at receiver.
To Corey Couch, that's the name.
Progress coming along here at the middle of the season.
Ben, what's
and are
good?
we on the verge of maybe seeing some more freshmen and redshirt freshmen make bigger impacts as the season goes on?
Yeah, Manny. And I'm sure this is true in every college across the country, but that was the class that, to me, not having spring hurt the most.
The receivers go up for the
they
ball.
could use it as well. We obviously remember we had a lot of mid-years, but that's the group that came in. And really, this is their time. 15 days. You got a whole month to go over, the fine details of what you're doing on offense and defense. And for that to be taken away, and then not even the 7-on-7 in the summer, when the players are out there coaching the players and all that type of stuff. So, yeah, it would make sense that there is as the year goes on, the younger section of your team should probably start to contribute more and more.
I may ask him with Corey, with Flag and Brooks getting more snaps. How would he assess? How would he assess the play?
Defensively,
Their play. Give me a better way to ask that question.
I thought Jafari was outstanding on Saturday. Another guy that's in that class, but whether it's getting our true freshmen or our redshirt freshmen or true sophomores more in the mix, Avery Huff had a great game on special teams. Tyreek Austin Cave. Another really talented guy.
We can ask Lashley about the slants.
You just can't make up for what they missed in that time. And I think, and the same thing is true with the guys on offense, like we mentioned with JP.
With Flag and Brooks receiving more snaps.
That's why you never stop developing your team. And that also answers the question we talked about earlier.
How do you think Flag and Brooks
as the year goes on, as players start
can take over the linebacker room?
So,
what more do they have to prove to play?
What they did back in September, remember in 2020.
Mr. Streeter, what's going on with Jeremiah Payton? He seems to not be getting any targets.
The preparation for the season and
what
all
more do
that
they have to do to play?
Unique. So I think getting a rhythm.
What's your evaluation on Brooks and Flag with their additional snap count? There you go, Desmond.
Okay, next we'll go to Tim Reynolds from the Associated Press. Tim, go ahead.
Hey, Manny, I wanted to go back to have you expand on it.
Good one,
a couple
Desmond.
questions ago about the effectiveness of the leadership of this group. Specifically, did you learn a lot about your kids on Saturday? I mean, it wasn't a game that had that national buzz. You weren't, the game day darlings last week. This is a game where I know you cringe at the comparison to past years, but in past years, Miami struggles in that game when the lights go out. Miami has struggled the past couple of years in that game. And your kids, I mean, it was tough. It was a solid professional win all around. But what did you learn about your group Saturday?
Look at this, man. What did you do?
Yeah, well, and to your point, Tim, we had to do it, and we talked about it, and we addressed it as the elephant in the room during the week because we knew it was out there. But you can talk about it, and we had a good week of practice, but, we've all heard that story before. You can have a good week of practice and not play well, and it doesn't matter whether you're into it or not into it. It's going to be hard to be good at what they do defensively. And
Hey, man, back here ducking and stuff. Man, supposed to be in class on the computer.
really in the third quarter, and that's
why the defensive corners and safeties play so deep on teams. Were y'all satisfied with the win? Were y'all satisfied with that game?
And there it is. It's in the balance. It's like 5 points. Momentum is definitely on Pitt's side. Kind of dead in the stadium, and our guys, like we were in the defensive line getting ready to take the field. Our guys were excited to play, and actually that was ironic. It was Quincy Roche. I thought Quincy, for as good of his play was on the field.
Yeah, Yellow. We can't. They can't talk about recruits.
And he wasn't alone, but to signal him out was unbelievable. I mean, just like, let's go. This is our chance. Let's do it. Blah blah blah. And then he's the one that ends up. Him and Jalen end up on the strip.
Can y'all hear him?
That was really the play. Then bang, we get the touchdown. Really from that point on, we kind of had him at arm's length. Never comfortable, but we were able to see it out from there. So very proud of the guys. They did something that is hard to do, and we celebrated that yesterday because they should feel the reward of that. But now here comes another one, similar type vein, right? It's same thing. We're not the marquee matchup, but it doesn't matter. It is a football game that demands your best, and we know Virginia will bring their best, and we have to match what they bring.
Manny, one quick follow. You mentioned Quincy on the sideline, and the energy from your sideline has been great forever, it seems like. When you're playing in empty stadiums or largely empty stadiums, how important is that you've got 60 or 70 kids manufacturing enough energy to fill the place of 60,000, it seems like?
It is so important this year, Tim. It is so magnified, and it's not the visible positive energy that you might see. It's avoiding the negative energy. And I think that's been an issue in the past of having, the term, the energy vampires on your sideline. Those guys are magnified in 2020 because you don't have just the chaos of the full stadium. So to have a sideline, and I mentioned this coming after UAB game, we have had really good sidelines, even the Clemson game, getting your butt kicked, but there's not pouting, and there's not guys, getting after guys. I mean, there's just none of that in a real. And I think this is where Derek helps a lot. Just the way that our offense and defense.
Why don't we pick up receivers in the motion and use more slants? Everybody wants to see slants. We're going
positive as well.
Somebody has to act.
All right, got time for a couple more. We'll go to David Wilson from the Herald. David, go ahead.
Hey, Manny, I want to ask you about a couple of your defensive linemen. First,
somebody's going to ask Lashley about the slants.
It kind of feels like sometimes he was the forgotten man a little bit early on because we were talking so much
you guys
about
y'all was satisfied with the win. A lot of people wasn't satisfied with the win. I just thought that, they got the win. They didn't have a breakdown. You understand?
Pretty much what you expected or exceeded your expectations in certain areas. And then Jared Harrison Hunt, 3 sacks already for him. I know he's a guy who's mostly a basketball player in high school. Just how impressive has his kind of rapid development been, and how does that basketball background maybe help him a little bit on the field?
Yeah, we'll start with Jared. I think the basketball part of it is his foot speed, his quickness, his change of direction. For what you have inside, when we talk about part of the football field, where you got defensive tackles and guards. He's so much more athletic than anybody else that lines up in there. Now, the downside of basketball is that there's not a lot of guys getting. When they double team you in basketball, it's a very different thing than getting double teamed in football, right? When you got really in our strength program to really bulk up and get strong. But he's tough. He's not afraid. He can hang in there. He can hold point if it's that type of game as well. And certainly his athleticism on a drop back pass game like we had on Saturday, is a major plus for him. So I do think and that's what we saw in high school. Just a bit and really encouraging as well.
Y'all want to watch me or y'all want to watch the game?
Next up, we'll go to Daryl Streeter. Daryl, go ahead.
Hey, Coach. How you doing, Coach? What's your evaluation on Brooks and Flag with their additional snaps they've been receiving?
Yeah, I think, I mean, Corey just is so instinctively sound. You know, he's a great feel for the position, a great feel for understanding gaps, playing blocks. Very intelligent, can get everybody lined up because our middle linebacker's got to make all the calls. He's the quarterback of our defense. And so his ability to do all that, manage all that, I think it puts everybody else at ease when he's out there. And then he can run and tackle, you know, which is what it's about. Sam, you know, obviously we were excited about Sam all offseason. Sam's, you know, had a foot injury somewhere during training camp. Sam just had a thing he had to get over where probably for about a span of 3 to 4 weeks, he just really wasn't 100%. You know, but certainly Sam picks up the speed that we have at our linebacker position, which we thought we were going to try to get a little bit faster this year, and we're trending in that direction. So it's been fun to see Sam and Corey sort of settle in there and getting a bunch of snaps in the rotation. And I think that as the year goes on, I think we're always looking for what the best rotation is, and that will all come down to the development of not just those 4 guys, but you know, Wayman Steed, and I mentioned Huff and Austin Cave. Really, for the first time, we feel like in a long time, we've got really good competition at inside linebacker, and some really good guys that are also, man, we wish they had spring ball, but are really going to be good in the future as well.
Okay, we'll wrap up with Tom D'Angelo from the Palm Beach Post. Tom, go ahead.
Yeah, hey, Manny, kind of piggybacking on Tim's question.
Wait.
Forward, you've mentioned,
Who worded that question, man? Thanks for helping me word that question, big dog. What y'all thought about his answer?
You and the players, will it make it easier to prevent it, to see the signs? Not that you expect it, but just, you know, to pick up on things, having seen what they went through and having those players have experienced that last year.
I think we can't predict what's going to happen, but what I would tell you is we're much more intentional in understanding the difficulty in winning a football game against anybody, and giving every opponent that we play the proper respect inside this building that they deserve. It's not made up. This is not like, you know, every team is the greatest team of all time.
Sound like 44 and 43 about to take less snaps.
To our defeat.
Richard said it was coach speak. He gonna do them like he did Greg last year, bring them on late.
We'll get beat.
Flag, listen, Flag was everywhere
around the country. So that doesn't mean that we're going to.
Flag was all over the field.
It's very hard to be the same team 11 and 12 weeks in a row. But what I will tell you is that our players understand it and they respect it more. That it was just crucial that inside the building, we never said we just don't believe that winning is easy. You know, and I think that respect for that has been something that they've been able to carry out through the first month of the season.
Great. Thank you, Coach. Thank you, everybody. Just a quick reminder, Rhett Lashley and Blake Baker will start at 1:30. That's a separate Zoom link, and we will see you all later this week.
Have a good day.
Thank you.
The recording has stopped.
But yeah, man, Flag and Brooks was everywhere, bro. They were all around. They were all over the field. Flag was lit. Flag had the swag going. Flag had everything going. You feel me? Yeah, Flag had everything going. I know. I mean, I'm starting to think McLeod sat out a reason. It was a reason McLeod sat out last year. I'm starting to think. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, I'm starting to really believe. Yeah, like McLeod had some catching up to do, and that's why he sat out. Man, I mean, he's starting to look like he don't have it, huh? I don't know. We're gonna get Lashley and at 1:30. I think we got Lashley and we get at 1:30. I think we get Lashley and Baker, y'all favorite guy, Baker. quiet now. Come out here. Come out here. Come out this door and go to that. Just go straight to them. Oh. Carter is leading tackler. I really wanted Carter and Brooks at linebacker. Carter, you wanted Carter? Yeah, Carter act like a linebacker. I don't know about Carter at safety. We had an event this weekend, and we had an event, a War Ready tournament in Lakeland. So I kind of watched the game on my phone. Then I watched the condensed highlights, and then I got the stats and everything emailed over to me. You good. And I don't know, did Carter get kicked out of the game this week? That's my question. Did he? Oh boy. Yeah, of course he did. Did he? No, he didn't. His confidence shot. Yeah, man, he looked like he looked like his confidence was shot on that. What's the name? He looked. Yeah, he looked like his confidence was shot. No targeting this week. Scared to hit. I'm breaking up. We might ask Lashley about the slants, man. I hear everybody want to know about the slants and why we're not running slants. And man, that's a hot topic. I got a good question for Lashley though.
This meeting is being recorded.
Hey, Coach Lashley, can you hear us?
Can hear you.
You can't.
Can hear.
Okay, hold on one sec.
Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
I can't hear you.
Hold on one sec.
Y'all can hear? You think he need to do better on first down, Miami Flow? So we got Coach Lashley.
Say something.
Hey, can you hear us?
Got
All right. Awesome. Coach, thanks for spending a few minutes with us today. We're going to go into questions. We'll start with Chris Stott from Inside the U. Chris?
Hey, Coach, curious about third downs, conversions, and what you guys have been able to do in red zones for the season, the totality of it. It's up from a year ago. It's better than a year ago, but just curious about your take on how things have gone there.
I think we've done a good job in the red zone. Most importantly, we've gotten points, I think, every time down there.
You know what I like? I like how Ole Miss uses Elijah Moore. Lane Kiffin uses Elijah
I
Moore.
think last week was maybe the first time statistically
Anthony
we
said we
didn't
do run
succeed because
slants.
we were taking a knee at the end of the game. Unfortunately, that goes against your stats. So we've done a good job in the red zone. We hopefully can continue to do that, and I think as long as you can run the ball effectively down there, that gives you a chance. Third downs, have been up and down. I think the last 2 weeks have been really poor. A big part of it is because, we've just taken way too many negative plays in early downs. Got us behind the sticks in second and long. And you look at last game, I think we were 4 of 13. Well, we were 4 of 8 in third and 10 or less. We had
If you're watching, hit the like button for us and share for us, man. Make sure you turn on your YouTube notifications.
That's not a recipe for success.
Hit the alert bell and turn on your
That's
notifications.
one of the biggest things we got to clean up. The negative plays have just absolutely killed us, kept us off schedule the last 2 weeks, made third downs really hard. And that's just something we've got to find a way to clean up because, traditionally we don't have.
Ask them about undisciplined Playbook guys either for getting their plays and
-2 yard losses on runs. Obviously, we had a couple sacks, but I think that is probably the biggest reason we've struggled lately the last 2 weeks on third down, just because we've been in so many third and longs.
Coach, we've got Gary Furman from Canes for Gary.
Hey, Rhett, how you doing this week?
Hey, Gary.
Now that we're getting towards the midway point of the season, I think we're starting to see some of the issues from last year kind of resurfacing a little bit with some position groups and uneven performances from game to game and things like that. But what we're also seeing is your ability to dial up explosive plays that right now
$50 donation from True Teller Mail.
the offense.
Black Lives
So I
Matter,
had a
big
couple
dog.
questions. What is the origin of that? Are these things that you're seeing in game plan
Appreciate
during
you,
the
brother.
week, or are they things that are evolving on game day that's allowing you to find those holes in the defense? How does it apply to this week's game against a Virginia team that just gave up 6 plays to
They
Wake
did love
Forest
Richard.
last week of more than 30 yards, which I'm sure you're looking at that
Go
game.
follow that man.
I'm sure that makes you very happy.
All
to
y'all
see.
go follow True Teller.
And then lastly, what's happened with the running game where, backs were having their way earlier in the season and now back-to-back games, I think that Cam, for example, has gone from averaging 8 yards a carry to averaging just over 2 yards a carry, and that part of your game has really seemed to break down the last 2 weeks.
Yeah, the first question on generating explosive plays, I think it's probably a combination. Sometimes it's in-game adjustment. A lot of times, I think that's one of my jobs is when maybe we're needing a shot in the arm, having a couple things we can go to each week. Obviously, I didn't do a very good job of that 2 weeks ago, but just give us a shot in the arm and kind of get us back going again.
Lashley takes a lot of responsibility, though. I like that.
Sometimes defense gets you a little bit. You kind of get a little stale. You got to find something to kind of restart the engine a little bit. Our guys have done a good job executing those kind of things.
We can drop the ball
When just the base
wide
system
open.
isn't flowing as nicely as we'd like it to. With regards to the run game, honestly, I think the Clemson game we got whipped. I thought we ran the ball really
Clemson,
well.
we got whipped.
You're talking about the number 2 rush defense in the country.
Man, y'all go follow Truth Teller,
30
man.
yards on them. I think North Carolina State ran for like 60 yards. I know Austin Peay had 1 yard rushing. I mean, they were giving up 52 yards a game.
True Teller. What's the smoothie of the day, man?
That's more than twice their average, and really the way we were able to close the game out, I thought was strong. And so I think we probably ran the ball even better.
Richard, but Lashley has already been a head coach like twice. I've been thinking about this.
Not been so far behind the chains where we couldn't run the ball. So in terms of Cam,
Yeah, he's a stand-up guy.
I don't know if there's any one thing to pinpoint, but we're obviously playing Jalen and Don as well, and you saw Robert Burns, and then De'Ara gets his. So we're not trying to force feed it to one guy. We're just going to ride the hot hand. But honestly, I mean, we weren't world beaters, but nobody runs for a ton of yards on those guys. And so
That's why Keyshawn Smith seeing.
And can you comment a little bit on Virginia's defense? At times they had some success against Clemson, but then
That's
last
why
week
Keyshawn Smith even seeing 33 snaps on offense.
Bronco and that
Will he
group
see
there,
more
they're
targets in the passing game?
Known for being really tough, really physical, well coached. They're really long. I mean, you look
As
on
he hasn't been a head
the depth
coach.
chart. Everybody, they got 2 outside linebackers who are 6'7", 6'5". The corners are 6'2". Their safeties are 6'2".
I know, but he's been an OC at 2 places, and I'm not sure sure if he was great at Auburn. I think he had the reins taken from him from Auburn, right?
But, you know, they did a nice job of generating those. But, you know, traditionally, I think Virginia does a nice job of keeping everything in front of them. So I think, like you said, probably what you saw against Clemson is more who they are. They did a really good job of slowing those guys down most of the night.
Coach, we've got Barry Jackson from the Miami Herald. Barry?
Hi, Rhett. If another coach on the staff asked you in confidence, who are the 3 receivers who you think are best equipped to help you win games? Could you even answer that at this point? And does the fact that you have such a large group sort of muddled together, does that excite
That's a
you?
good
Does it
question.
stress you out at this point in the season?
No, it doesn't stress me out.
Go ahead, Coach.
I mean, we've got, you know, we've been playing the young guys a little bit
Can
more
y'all
the last
hear?
2 weeks. I think the best thing is those guys just got to come compete every week, and the guys that are playing the best in practice and having the best game are going to stay in there. Those guys have been working really hard the last 2 weeks, and I think, you know, at times they've made some really nice plays. I thought Mark Pope had a nice game the other day, you know, and it's still frustrating sometimes that, you know, maybe you aren't seeing the fruits of the labor on the deeper throws. We were really close on a couple the other day, got a couple pass interferences. And, you know, we just got to force offensively. But, you know, we just got to keep continuing to get better each week and can't get discouraged. You just got to keep swinging until you get a breakthrough. And, you know, we got a lot of confidence that we're going to get there.
Coach, we have Mike Barber from the Richmond Times-Dispatch. Mike,
The
you have a
Richmond
question for us?
Times. Mike Barber.
Yeah, Coach, 2 quick ones on their defense, and you can just hit on it. But
Mike
their
Barber looked like a
outside
nose
linebacker,
guard.
the 11, Charles Snowden, not very productive, playing to the boundary for a couple of weeks. They
Pickle
moved
this
him more to
thing.
the field. Just, what did you see in that change, and how did that change them defensively?
Well, it didn't really change it much because number 7 is the other one, and they're both really long and really athletic. And so if they just switch 7 and 11, it doesn't change their scheme. And it may have had something to do with what Wake Forest was doing, or, you know, in the world of COVID, you never know when you have guys in or out. You got to make adjustments. So those guys, like I said, number 11, he's 6'7", I think. 7's like 6'5". I mean, they're really long, really athletic. And the way they play them both in space in the passing game and in the run game, it's just that length is tough. They also go to a 4-down front with both those guys on the defensive end. They can really rush the passer. So I think they do a really nice job of using those guys. You know, their length is very
Slim
strong.
Shady.
And on those big plays that you were looking at,
I think Pitt was a big win for Miami. The last 2 years, Miami lost the game after they lost like Clemson. Slim Shady, that's how I felt about it too.
I mean, they had a couple contested
But I had
catches.
a couple of my counterparts, man, wasn't happy, man, about the offense and the sacks and the interceptions and the people still running open in the flats. But that's how I felt about it. At least it wasn't a letdown.
Throws, and so I mean that's what you got to do. A lot of times, you know, rarely you're going to get guys just wide open. Every now and then a busted coverage happens, or you can scheme something up. But that's going to be the name of the game every week. And we can connect some contested throws and catches downfield. It really just opens everything else up.
Thank you.
We've got time for a few more. We're going to go to David Lake at 24/7. David?
I wanted to go off board a little bit, I guess, and ask you about Tyler Van Dyke and just in general, how's he done with approaching this, you know, redshirt season? You know, understanding there is no redshirting this year, but just his approach and getting better during this year.
I think he's done great. You know, I mean, he's very attentive in all the things we're doing in meetings and walkthroughs. You know, anytime I'm able to get him reps, he knows what to do. For a freshman, he's able to stay very focused. A lot of times freshmen hit a wall about halfway through the first season. You know, they're getting bombarded with school and finals and tests. Just the game weeks kind of become long weeks. It's the same thing over and over, and it's easy to kind of get tired mentally and get in a rut. And, I haven't noticed that with him. I think he's been pretty locked in. He's very mature. And I think he also is very...
I turned the camera around and I let y'all watch some of the football game, right?
He also wants to soak everything up.
Did you know YouTube sent me a signal that said, hey?
Coach, we've got Manny Navarro from The Athletic.
YouTube sent me a signal was like, hey,
Coach,
you're showing people copyrighted material. You can't do that.
Awards for the wide receivers, and we've talked about how the freshmen are sort of coming along. I wanted to ask you specifically about, you know, Jeremiah Payton.
Technology crazy.
I guess of those 3, is there one that's further ahead of the other in terms of being a deep threat, maybe being able to help you guys stretch the field and fill in that void that you want?
You know, it's been interesting. You know, Michael Redding started doing some good things early in the season, and then
The hell police.
just had some aggravating injuries that didn't keep him from playing, but probably slowed
Technology,
down
bro.
Same thing with
Crazy.
Jeremiah Payton. You know, I thought in the first game of the year he showed some really good things, and then had to
Do
miss
I think we'll be ready for Bama in
So that
21?
kind of slowed him down. Now we've got him back, and Keyshawn Smith, he's shown he can really run. You know, I mean, he had a really nice deep route last week. He ran by the guy. And just right off the fingertips, and it was borderline interference. So we were really.
We need more of those games, man. We got to make it to the top two.
You know, those guys have length
to play.
You know, my hope
this
is all
year.
three of them really continue to develop into more of a.
I don't see it, bro.
Field, but you know, Keyshawn can run.
We need more of those games.
And Michael's really.
Did we compete the other day
hopefully, we can keep those
against
guys
Clemson?
consistent in the practice.
It didn't look like we competed to me. You know what I'm saying?
To where, you know, as young guys, like you said,
few guys did.
Jeremiah's a redshirt freshman who's never played till this year. You know, hopefully the game will start to slow
Curve
down.
Bill.
Like you said, sometimes a guy makes one or two really good catches, and all of a sudden the light clicks on, and it kind of opens up the floodgates, and that's kind of what we're looking forward to.
Thanks. Let's go 2 more for you. We're going to go to Daryl Streeter at Footballville. Daryl, if you had a question for Coach Lashley.
Yes, Coach, how you doing today? Coach, on a lighter note, how's your family enjoying the Miami sunshine and the weather? And can you see yourself being here for a while?
They're loving it. I mean, obviously, you know, being COVID, I think my wife and I have been out one time since we moved here. And then, you know, my kids, fortunately, they've been in school since August, and that's gone well. So that's been really good. I know my wife's been really happy about that, getting them out of the house. But they're loving it. My boys are getting to play on a little baseball team. They're having a good time. And, I mean, my boys, they're just kind of at that age of 10 where they really get excited about football on game day every week and all that. So they're loving it. They love being at the U. We love it. My wife was telling me during our off week, that was the one time we got to go out to dinner one night, just how much she enjoyed being in South Florida and how it's really exceeded our expectations. So we're very happy here. We're excited to be a part of Coach Diaz's staff and try to build something special.
Last one for you, Coach, with David Wilson from the Miami Herald. David, go ahead.
Hey, Rhett, a couple quick ones. Just first, I'm just kind of curious your overall kind of big picture thoughts on De'Eric on Saturday. Obviously, the 4 touchdowns, but the 2 interceptions. And then also, we obviously
Happy wife, happy life.
adding different stuff to the playbook. It seems like every week we saw that full house formation. I'm just curious, you know, with no spring.
He gave a lot of info, didn't he? I didn't think he was going to give us all that.
Or whatever, at this point in the season, as opposed
Eddie.
to passing, do you feel like it's a little bit further behind?
Listen, man. Nobody do it like us, fool. Listen. Nobody do it like us. You know what I'm saying? Nobody do it like us.
On Saturday, you know, the first two.
We gonna pop one day. One day we're gonna be big, and you guys be like, man, I was there since day one. Don't nobody do it like us, dog. Nobody. Unless you Jimbo wife. She wasn't happy.
Mike Harley and Cam Harris, John Campbell, and Ja'Kai Clark and De'Eric to go get that tackle down at the 12 because what looked like a pick 6, they get a tackle at the 12. Our defense, you know, stiffens up and holds them to 3. That was big. And the other one, their corner.
You say we big already?
He turned to show coverage and bailed out the last second, and he got us. You know, he probably had 2 other plays that were really poor plays. One, we took a sack on one late in the game.
Corey, man, we appreciate that, man. We're going to keep grinding.
When he was out of the pocket, didn't make
Hey, Kenley, y'all good?
to throw 4 touchdown passes.
Huh?
I thought his deep ball throws were a lot better.
Okay.
If you look, they were right on the fingertips of the receivers, a couple PIs. We got
Miami need to learn to play up to this talent level before they worry about competing with the right. Slim, I agree. I did not like our energy in that game, bro. I didn't.
Obviously, the turnovers were critical, and we can't allow that. But as far as De'Eric goes, I thought he had a solid game, and I think he'll continue to get better each week.
Yeah, he gave us a lot, bro. Like, he was like, yeah, listen, man, we loving it, man. Especially the strip clubs, man. Take one, man. That thing is the bomb. I was
Just curious, how far along, obviously with no spring, I'm sure it took a little bit longer to install and stuff like that. Are you kind of where you would hope you would be? Are you still installing stuff more than maybe you would at this point in the season in past years?
y'all want to listen? Y'all like listening to this stuff, man?
You know, people always like, hey, we got X% of our playbook in. I mean, we don't even have a playbook. You know, I mean, we have guys with iPads and we send them
Ben, they didn't wear us down. They whooped us from ding. It looked like your boy beating up on Lomachenko the other night.
We lost 11 spring practices, but even more than that, we lost that time in spring, in April, and May, and June.
Really, I don't know. I didn't think y'all really like this stuff, man. I'll give more. I'll give it to you more.
That are on the deep balls on things that are just right now hair off. so just you kind
Oh
of
well, yeah. Nobody do it like us now. I don't even know if I'm supposed to be doing it like this.
how many times you reps.
Because I remember Mark Rick used to make mistakes all the time in the press conference. You feel me? You know what I'm saying?
You can execute at a high level. And I think that's probably the only thing that's really hurt us. With regards to evolving each week, your opponent's different, so that has something to do with it. Obviously, we were without Brevin and without Jared last week, and so sometimes you try to do some things based on the personnel you're carrying.
Lomo gave the fight away.
And also, we're learning about our guys each week, what we do well, what maybe we think we could be good at. So a little bit of that is just us.
Lomachenko is old, bro. Like he's older guy. He looked like the end of his career. That looked like the end of a lot of fighters' career when they fight too long.
See how we do, but I think we got guys that are playing
Man,
hard, and it's not about
that dude was blowing through whatever Lomo was trying to do.
Coach, thanks for spending a few minutes with us today. Good luck this week in practice. We appreciate it.
And here come your boy Blake Baker. I'm gonna ask Coach Blake Baker, be like, Coach, man, your family, they don't really like Miami, right? They want to get up out of here, right? How much time we got left? She asked him. He might look at that question and be like, nobody ever asked me about my family and about staying here. Daryl, Kenny, y'all straight? Yeah. You sure? Yeah. All right. Okay, we got Blake Baker. Somebody need a U-Haul truck.
Coach Baker, how we doing?
Great, how are you?
What y'all want to ask Coach Baker?
Thank you. Thanks for spending a few minutes with us today. Guys, just a reminder, please use the hand raise function if you've got a question for Coach Baker. We will start with David Wilson from the Miami Herald. David.
Hey, Blake. A couple of defensive linemen I wanted to ask you about. One, Quincy. So he's ACC Defensive Lineman of the Week. He obviously has been great for you guys. Just you knew, I'm sure, coming in that he was going to be good. Has he been mostly what you expected, or has he even exceeded your expectations in some areas? And then Jared Harrison Hunt, who leads you guys in sacks, and obviously he's still relatively new to football. Just curious your thoughts on his development and maybe what that.
People ask him how we will rate the play of the upperclassmen.
Yeah, I think Quincy, the great thing about Quincy is he's gotten better and better every single week.
People didn't know how
really
Coca was until the guys started turning into pros.
Every single week you can see him playing more and more into the scheme, which is really impressive. Every single week he's gotten better at doing that. And then the other thing that really stands out about
But he needs some help moving.
The leadership that he's really starting to show. It's always new when you come, to a new school and a grad transfer and expectations, and there's probably a lot of different, external pressures kind of in his role. But you can see how much more comfortable he is with our guys, and it shows in his leadership. Even with the offense, he was running up and down the sidelines, really, rooting for them the entire game. And
Bubba Bowens, I didn't see the new depth chart. He's still not a starter?
From a physical standpoint, we knew he's an innate ability to really rush the passer. He's slippery. He's very instinctual.
Just a really, really good football player. So I've been really pleased with him. Been really proud of him to watch him grow over the past.
Yeah, but I think the depth chart
4
just
6
came out.
weeks. And I still think he's just scratching the surface of how good he can be, in my opinion. Same with, kind of echo the same sentiments as far as just scratching the surface of how good they can be is Jared Harrison Hunt. He is an athletic freak. I mean, he's 6'3", 285 pounds. I'm sure he can still dunk a basketball any way you want it. That was kind of the cool thing. Recruiting him was, going to New York City and obviously the mecca of high school basketball and watching him be the best player on the court. It's pretty cool. And now you see him playing defensive tackle for the Miami Hurricanes and watching that ability start to transfer onto the football field. It's been really impressive. But
You see Manny.
Very, very proud of Jared. And, I think he's a testament of hard work and sticking with it, even through the tough times, because people have this expectation of him to be really, really good because of his athletic ability. But football, as we know, is much more than just being athletic. And he's really starting to trust his technique, and he's going to be a really, really good defensive tackle for us when it's said and done.
What about David Ferrones from the Sun Sentinel? David?
Hey, Coach. Sticking to the D-line, I want to ask about Jonathan Ford. How's he doing? I know he's a consistent starter for you guys, obviously. Maybe he doesn't show up as much in the stats, but is his impact more also on, drawing blockers and, setting up other guys? And another question I wanted to ask is Keontre Smith. I didn't see him much in the second half. Obviously, he couldn't play the first because of targeting the week before. Was that also more, though, just because what he was doing offensively late in the game, and you were in nickel a lot, of course, with Corey Couch out there?
Yeah, I think that's exactly what happened with Keontre. Is honestly, we didn't know Pitt was going to be that much 10 personnel, and then putting a nickel in there for that striker position probably limited his playing time. Like I always say, sometimes the game situation, personnel, there's different things that dictate a guy's playing time. So that's exactly what happened with Keontre. And John Ford's been really solid for us. Like you said, he's a big load inside. Sometimes he doesn't necessarily show up on the stat sheet, but he's doing a nice job for us, obviously occupying blocks. I think he's a guy that, offenses account for, because he is such a large man, and he's doing a good job rolling off the ball and showing twitch. And, there's areas that he can improve in, and he knows that. But overall, he's been really, really solid for us over the first quarter of the season.
Coach, we've got David Lake from 24/7. David?
Sticking with D-line, I guess, Nesta is a guy that's taken his game to another level this year.
Ask the D coordinator. Baker is a bit too reserved, no dog mentality. He's
see, that he's developed in his game this year that's helped him, take that next step?
Yeah, I think two things. I think one, I think he's really bought into trusting his technique. He gets on himself harder than anybody when he's not playing with the proper technique. He's always had the ability, but now shooting his hands. He is a disruptive force.
Baker needs to cut a bit out on the sideline. He be chilling on the sideline, never really paid attention to him.
Strictly technique, trusting the scheme, trusting what Coach Stroud's having him do, shoot his hands at his target, and he has figured out how disruptive he is when he does those things.
Can't ask him about T2.
The most impressive thing about Jade this season has been his leadership. I talked to him last night. I was as proud of him in that game yesterday as I've been since I've been here. A couple times he got banged up and went to the tent, fought through those injuries, and I'm really impressed with what Jade's doing for us. Couldn't be happier. I think he's stepped his game up to an all ACC level, and every week I challenge him to be the best defensive tackle on the field, regardless of who we're playing, and I think he takes that personal. So really, really happy with what Jade's done for us this far this season.
Coach, we got Barry Jackson to the Miami Herald. Barry?
Hi, Blake. Speaking of defensive tackles, your 4 top guys were all in the 30s in snaps, pretty bunch close together. Has Jordan Miller done something to impress you guys in practice, where he's now at a similar snap count as the other 3 guys?
Once again, I think it's going to be probably more dictated on who we play. I think a lot of our defensive tackles all have a different skill set, but Jordan's done a nice job for us. it was good to see him push the pocket and get it on a half of a sack. With practice time or practice performance dictates how much they play a lot of the times. And then, I feel good really about 6. I think we have 6 guys inside that can play. And obviously, the more we play different guys, the fresher they are, and the better it makes us as a defense. So that's something that we
Give me a good question to ask Baker.
It's starting to come to fruition once again. If they don't practice well, it's hard to put them in the game. But I think all those guys.
Why we always surprised what teams do week to week.
Practicing well and feeding off of each other, and it's something that continue. Hopefully, we continue to see evolve as the season goes on. But we want to play as many guys as possible on defense. And once again, you have to prove it in practice. And
when does he leave?
If you do that, you have a good chance you're going to see the field on Saturdays.
Folks, we've got time for a couple more. We're going to go to Daryl Streeter with Footballville. Daryl, if you had a question for Coach Baker.
Yes, Coach Baker, how you doing? Coach, I want to ask Bubba Bolden, is his play a surprise, and what's keeping him out of the starting lineup?
No, Bubba's he's probably been one of our best, if not best, defensive player. Week in, week out. I say it every week, and I know I sound like a broken record, but I truly believe we have 3 safeties that can start anywhere in the country, and that's just a testament to the selfishness in that room. Bubba knows that. Gervin knows that. Amari knows that. So, they're going to rotate in and who starts, and the game will dictate who plays more, who's kind of got the hot hand, maybe who we're playing, maybe what schematically we're doing, because once again, they all have different strengths and weaknesses. So, all that's kind of dictated the flow of the game, but we were very upfront with them at the beginning of the year, and it's going to be kind of one of those rotational deals. It doesn't matter who starts, in my opinion. And I think they've all bought into that.
Folks, last one for you. We got Manny Navarro from The Athletic. Manny, go ahead for Coach Baker.
Hey, Coach Baker.
It don't matter who starts.
I wanted to ask you about the linebackers and your evaluation from this last game, and then to the point where they're at now. It seems like obviously it's become much more of a mix.
Don't matter who start. They all brought into that. Amari Carter is the starter.
The rest of the year, or can someone emerge here and maybe take on a bigger role?
Yeah, I think
what is he talking about?
Bubba
might be the best player on the team.
Last week, all 4 guys that played inside for us really played a pretty good game. It's been fun to watch Corey and Sam push. BJ.
Where there's a middle of the field that you need to cover.
And they know that. And it's going to be one of those
the flats too. The flats be wide open, dog.
We're going to play with all 4 of them, and I think all 4 of them honestly feed off each other and probably play better when their snap counts, closer to 50-50. At least that's what I saw last weekend. Could be one of those deals where a guy's out there and he's having a hell of a game, and we'll roll with the hot hand. But I think all 4 of those guys have deserve to play and basically split time. And until one of them proves it otherwise, I think we'll kind of roll with that rotation.
And then if I could, as a quick follow with the linebackers, obviously it's a challenge in today's game.
We got Baker sweating.
Playing pass coverage. I'm wondering if those 4 which kind of handled it.
Might be talking about he's drunk.
I thought all 4 of them did a really nice job. Last week, I think Corey Flagg has an unbelievable feel. Just, we do a lot of pattern matching, and it's kind of one of those deals where he just has a really good feel for it. But overall, it's hard to pinpoint which one of the 4's done the best. I think they've all done a good job, overall. But it's kind of hard to say this guy's been that much better than any of the 3, to be honest with you.
Gotcha. Thanks.
Coach Baker, thanks for spending a few minutes with us today, and good luck the rest of the week in practice. We'll be talking to you soon.
All right, appreciate it. Have a good one.
Thanks, everyone.
There it is. He talking about Coach Baker drunk. Was they interview Reed? Nah, they just do the head coach and Reed don't really get. Nah, Reed had the press conference and that was it. You feel me? He don't really get do interviews and stuff like that. Listen, man, make sure y'all like and share the video, bro. Like, put this in your group text. Put the link in your group chat for us. Nobody does it like us. You know what I'm saying? Nobody does it like us. And we can't depend on YouTube to spread the word. You know what I'm saying? YouTube got the NFL. They got the big boys in there now. They're not worried about Footballville anymore like they was 5 years ago. So spread the word for us, big dog. I mean, we appreciate it. We truly appreciate it. The dog's coming. But yeah, man, for the guy that asked me, do I think we are ready? Do I think we're ready for Bama? No, I mean, I don't see it. I don't see it now, man. We got to get into an ACC championship game or something. We got to compete. It looks like they playing a different sport than us, bro. Like Clemson had a play ready for us, bro, and they knew they can score with it. Like the fucking fake that way, pass back that way. That's too easy, dog. You know what I'm saying? That's too easy. So our players got to get more comfortable in being in that situation. Before we can even think about playing those people, man. It's my cameraman, right? What's up, bro? Yeah, the game uploaded, right? When? I'm live, though. Everybody here had a conversation right now. No, what's good? You straight? Nah. Nah. It look like they paused or something. Give me 5 minutes. I'm gonna hit you right back. Yeah. But yeah, we need some good old county boys in the trenches. But listen, man, about to get up out of here, man. Like I say, man, share it to the street of why Baker loves running that zone D. Our players are built for the head coaching staff. Reminds me of Mark D'Onofrio. I don't know. They play man a lot. I think Miami plays man a lot. I mean, sometimes it's philosophy. We got a pass rush. We got some dogs up there getting after the quarterback. You know what I'm saying? Why would you let them run through a zone and not man up? No, I don't know. I'm saying I don't know. I don't know. I'm going to ask that question. You know what I'm saying? But listen, like I say, like and share for us, man. Make sure footballville.shop, man. Y'all make sure y'all go cop the shirts. We just got to win. So we may put out the last shirt. Treaty House recruiting looking right now good. I think we should be a commitment this week. Supposed to be. I don't know if things got postponed or changed. I think it's doing good, man. Y'all stay look around. We just dropped the new Caneville show, so go check it out. We appreciate y'all. Take the Caneville show, put it in your group chats, man. Share it for us, big dog. Y'all part of the team. You know what I'm saying? Share it for us. Put it in your group chat. Put it in your all of this stuff. You feel me? Y'all part of the team. Well, man, I'm about to get up out of here. That's about 2 hours with y'all. Too long. I don't spend that much time with my lady. I got my son right here running around like he done lost his mind. But all right, man. I'm about to get up out of here, man. Peace.